Hello and welcome. You're at the Lopsided Crafter Loom Knitting channel. My name is Erica, and today we are doing show and tell number 2. We are going to kind of sprinkle in a little bit of a mid-month September update and a little pigskin party update. All of it kind of into one. So, what have I been working on? Well, I've been working on a lot of socks, but unfortunately they are a secret. So I can't really show everything that I'm working on. So I will show a few things. Some things that I may show may not currently have a pattern, but may have one way in the future. The last time we talked, I was doing a heel tab sock with cuff down with the Premier sock kit yarn. Haven't gotten any further. uh, just not a huge fan of this yarn. And that's just me personally. That doesn't mean that it's not a good yarn. I'm not sure if it's the content. It's got wool, and I believe it's got bamboo in it and some nylon. I don't have the ball band right here in front of me. Yeah, it's got 50% wool, 25% rayon from bamboo, and 25% nylon. I'm just not a huge fan. I've done a couple socks with this yarn already, and I don't know. I'll continue to work on the sock, but I'm just not a huge fan of the texture of it. And this may be one of those yarns that feel completely different when you actually wash the sock. So I have not given up totally yet, but I have not gotten any further. My next work in progress, which I am going to be frogging, because I am just not, the designer side of me is not happy with this. And this is a color work sock that I've been doing. From a distance, it looks great. Up close, not so much. You can see that the stitch tension is different. And I'm not sure why, because I was holding the yarn the same. The only thing that I can think of is okay, so if you're familiar with color work on the needle knitting side of it, it depends on which hand you hold the background color in is more dominant. So I'm thinking it was the way the yarn was wrapped the same way each time. The direction it was wrapped made it more dominant than the other color, and I don't like that. It looks sloppy to me. So this will be frogged. It has one of my new acquisitions on it, so let me just show you that, the little football charm there. This yarn is, hold on, I've got it right here on my spreadsheet. For those of you that do not know, for every sock that I make, I calculate everything in a spreadsheet. I'll write down, if it's somebody else's pattern, I will put the name of the pattern. If it's my pattern, again, I'll put the name of the pattern. I'll put on that spreadsheet who I'm making it for, whether it's for myself, a friend, my mother, any knit-worthy person in my life. And then I also include what loom I used, how many pegs I used, if I use a different heel or toe instead of I call the traditional short row heel or toe. So I will include that, whatever toe and heel I use. I include how many rounds that I did for the foot, how many for the leg, how many for the cuff. Then I weigh the yarn. I will put in the spreadsheet the amount of yarn that I had before the sock was done. Then I will weigh the yarn again to determine how much I used, especially if you're making a sock that's got different colored heels and toes and cuffs. You can't really necessarily weigh the sock to get a a complete weight on your yarn. So I will weigh the leftovers, and then I will put that on the spreadsheet, and then I've got a formula in there that tells me exactly how many yards and grams that I used for the sock, and then how many yards and grams are left. And all that's based on the yards and grams that are on the ball band. Now, there's a caveat to that. Not all hanks of yarn. I mean, I'm not saying this is one of them. I'm just showing you not all hanks of yarn will necessarily weigh what the ball band says. And that is because of where the yarn dyer gets the yarn from the manufacturer. Sometimes you may luck out and get one that is 10, 15, 20 grams more than the ball band says. And sometimes you get those that are a couple grams less. So you have to take that, with a grain of salt. So what I do is, for my calculations, I write down the information that is actually on the ball band. And if it weighs a little bit more, then I'll kind of put it off on the side in parentheses. So that way I can kind of guesstimate exactly how much yarn I used. That's the nerdy side of me, of my spreadsheet. So anyway, all that to say that this yarn is Small Fish Yarns, the pretty variegated, funky color. And the name of the yarn is Glow Stick Party. And then the blue is Huntington Valley Yarns, and it is in the color Clear Skies. This one is 75% merino, 25% nylon. And that's this blue color right here. But again, it's going to be frogged, so you won't see it finished, but at least you'll know what the yarn is. So that leads me to my FO. I already have listed a video for this on my channel. There currently will not be a written pattern available for this, just the video. But these are my peekaboo socks. I love them. Now this is the same yarn. This is the Glow Stick Party by Small Fish Yarns, and then the pink right here for the heel and a little bit here on the cuff is Neon Pink. So let's talk about the sock. This sock was done on a 60 peg loom. I used the Flexi loom for this sock. It was done cuff down, and it is a peekaboo cuff. So what that means is that you have a little bit of color here, and then the rest of the cuff just goes right to here. This is a folded cuff. A little bit for the leg, and then for the heel, I did a shadow wrap heel. This is similar to a short row heel. It falls in that short row heel category, but it is different as far as your increases and your decreases. This one has absolutely no holes in it, none at all. I feel it fits very good. The shadow wrap heel has to do with the difference is when you are increasing back out, you do triple stitches. And when you're decreasing, you do twin stitches. And I've explained all of that in the video. But yeah, let's see how much yarn I actually used for this project. I used about 60 grams yarn total of the body of the sock and approximately 11 grams for the heel and the cuff. Love the way it came out. I've got to put these back on the blockers because I need to be doing some pictures of these. So that is about all I have got for whips and finished objects. So I have officially, for the month of September, or September 2025, I have officially finished 3 pairs of socks. Unfortunately, I can only show you one of them. But let's get an update. I know that a lot of people have not yet filled out the form. As it stands right now, I've got 2 people that have done 1 sock and 1 person that has done 2. What? I shouldn't say sock. I shouldn't say sock. I should say hair. So socks. So far, I know that there's a lot of people participating. They're just not filling out the form. So this is fun. This is exciting, and I know it's new, and a lot of people don't know about it. But if you want to win the prizes, you have to fill out the form for each pair of socks. I don't really know any other way to do it. That's the only way that I can keep track of how many pairs each person has done. That is the mid-month update on September. These socks and my other 3 pairs are also going to be towards the pigskin party. If you don't know anything about the pigskin party, that is an annual knit along that is hosted by Down Cellar Studios. And the premise of it is that you knit for the whole football season. The amount of yarn that you use for your project is weighed, and then that determines how many points you get. So if you've used 100 yards, like the 100-yard field, then you get 7 points, which is what you would get if you had a touchdown. So she makes it really, really fun. And then, throughout the year, you get a chance to win different prizes. You're on a team, whether it's the AFC or the NFC, Southwest, East. It's really, really fun. And in years past, it was crochet, needle knitting, weaving, and spinning. And so I did reach out and I said, hey, are looms accepted? Because I know from experience, which is why I started the September this year, but from personal experience, there are not a lot of people that run cows that will include loom knitters. For some reason, they think that it's cheating, which it's not cheating. I mean, we get the same effect. We're just using a hook and a loom versus 2 needles. That's the only difference. When I back to my squirrel. So Jen reached back out to me and said, you know what? Sure. We are going to include loom knitting in it this year. And as far as the yarn you use, you're going to use the same rules as needle knitters would. I was so excited about that. So if you are joining the pigskin party, let me know. I'm on team 3. Now on to acquisitions. Let me get a sip of my drink in my Scooby-Doo cup. Yes, I am a kid at heart. Part of the fun of being in the being a part of the pigskin party are the sponsors, and some of the extra things that you can do to gain more points. So I showed you the football helmet. Oh, you know what? I do have another. Oh no, let me show it to you. Shoot. I have two. I have another sock on the loom. Two socks on the loom. I can't show you the sock, but I could show you the stitch marker. So here's one of them, the football. Sorry guys, I know that's like, I should have just not showed you at all. And that's a little jersey. So if you have anything football theme related, you can use that and gain extra points. So stitch markers. I'm not sure if it's current teams, and what I mean by that is I have this project bag that is the St. Louis Rams, and they're no longer the St. Louis Rams, they're now the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm not sure if that would work, but you can gain extra points. And then I have two additional stitch markers here. It looks like the playbook and the actual football field. These were not one of the sponsors, but I will get credit for using a football related item. I ordered a project bag, but from the Wandering Pearl, but she was inundated with so many orders that it's going to be probably mid-October before I get that. And you know what? I'm fine with that because go her. You know what I mean? Go. Go girl. Go Bethany. You deserve it. I'm in no hurry. And it kind of worked out great because like 3 days later, she posted a new listing on Etsy, and it was of this like 80s mixed tape fabric with a hot pink bottom. And I'm like, yes, I want that. I want that, please. So I messaged her and I was like, please tell me you still have this fabric. Because it's one of those listings where you can customize your own. You talk about the fabrics that you want, the size, and the shape, and all that fun stuff. And she messaged me back and she said yes. And I said, sold. I want it. So she's going to make both of those and just include, put them into the same box. I have no, I'm not worried about waiting. It's no big deal. So when all that to say is that when that project bag gets here, I will get extra points for using that project bag because she is a Pro Shop sponsor. Another Pro Shop sponsor is Mandy's Makings Yarn. And this is Game Day Party. So you can see the green and the brown, for the football, and the green is for the field and all that fun stuff. This is 75% merino, 25% nylon, 462 yards for 100 grams. So I'll probably be casting this on sometime soon. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe just a vanilla sock, maybe a different type of heel. We'll have to see. The next thing that I got, again, y'all know if you've been around for a while, whether it's on this channel or my other channel, you know that Erica loves all of the cryptids. So whenever I see such things, I must add to the collection. So I got some stitch markers, and I don't think there's a way for me to hold them all up at one time. So I'm just gonna have to hold them up one at a time and show you. When I order stitch markers off of Etsy, I tend to do the listing that they have for knitting needles. I have found that a 10 millimeter is the smallest. So the 10 millimeter will fit on like your sock looms like this. Um, so if you you'll have to go bigger for like the 5/8 gauge, the half gauge, things like that. But I do know that the 10 millimeter will fit these small sock looms. So here's the first one. And then this one. And we have an actual big foot with Bigfoot on it. Oh, goodness. And then we have one with the tree with Bigfoot. And then one more. He's here in the background of a forest of trees. So I was actually looking for project bags for the upcoming mini sock projects when I ran across those stitch markers and these next stitch markers. And then I'll show you the project bag that I did get. More Bigfoot stitch markers. There we go. And these stitch markers are by Sunrise Grove Knittery, sunrisegrove.com. But I got them on Etsy. And then these adorable, look, I am all in for things of the 80s. I am a 80s teenager through and through. And when I saw these on Etsy and they're from the Sexy Knitter, I was like, sold, sold, sold. And I don't think there's a way if they're going to fall out of my hand. It's the Care Bears. So we have Sunshine Bear. And I think this was Rainbow Bear. I don't know. I don't remember. Lucky Bear. No, that's not Lucky Bear. This is Lucky Bear. And then we had Stormy Bear. I don't remember. It's been so long. And then Love Bear. I don't know. Let me know their names down below. It's been a very long time. But when I saw the Care Bears, I was like, so gotta get them. Got to get them. Has nothing to do with football, but all about nostalgia. And this is the project bag that I decided on. And it is by Anomalous Mind. And it was on Etsy. And this is like a all cryptid type bag. Oh yes, perfect size for the loom for my 100-gram hank separated into two 50-gram balls and the 20-gram hank for different colored toes, heels, and cuffs. Perfect size, and it's got the jackalope, Bigfoot, the Mothman. It's got Kentucky Goblin, the Green Lady, Lizard Man, all different types of cryptids listed here on this bag, and I just could not resist. Could not resist. So that, my friends, is my show and tell number 2, my mid-month September check-in, and my pigskin party update. Hopefully soon I'll have a little bit more update on my secret things going on. Until next time, stay cozy, happy looming, and may all your socks find their matches. Bye. Remember to fill out that form linked below to get credit for making your socks. You have to do that for each pair that you do.